Okay, welcome to Basecamp Beta number 114. I know this well because the last episode was 113.
That's good because I did not know this. You started saying that and I got worried. So I'm glad you know.
Julia, this is a point of recurring drama / humor in our podcast. We never quite know. We generally don't know what episode it is. Sometimes episode numbers get switched around after we've recorded, but more often we just actually forget. Because numbers are really hard.
Well, now we're up in 114. It's crazy.
I know. Well, we did skip 100, but...
Yeah, fair enough.
So I'm Sean.
And I'm Chris.
And today with us we have Julia Santoli, a fantastic New York-based multidisciplinary artist, musician, and academic scholar. And so, we are back again at the wonderful Public Sound studios, courtesy of Ryan Woodhall. It's always a real blessing to bask in the radiance of all of these lights.
Be surrounded by curtains.
Yeah, no.
It's good to have curtains around.
So it's a little bit Lynchian, right?
Very
It is a little bit Lynchian.
Yeah. This is luxury. But so let's jump into things. Does that sound good? First, as always, Chris, do you want to
Yeah, join the Patreon, basecampbeta.com/Patreon. We have the most recent one was more SH101 tracks. That was pretty fun. Probably have some more stuff coming down the line.
That was fun.
Check that out. And then also, if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, give us a rating and review. That helps. All this kind of thing. Administrative stuff over. Sean.
Okay. So, Julia, welcome to Basecamp Beta. And so, we generally start things by just asking our guests the general question of how they found themselves in the world of weird art, weird music, weird things. Everyone kind of has their own path here. Sometimes I joke, was there a moment that you can realize in hindsight that after which your life was ruined, that you were going to be condemned to the path of the artist? Do you have such a moment? Otherwise, just tell us how you wound up where you are.
Well, I guess. Well, first of all, thanks for having me here. It's fun to be in a podcast situation, especially about weird art and music. I guess I feel like it's all kind of a long process, as anything is. So maybe I can think of being a teen and just wanting to listen to music kind of as a way to be in my own world, or when my cousin burned me a Stations of the Crass CD and being
awesome.
What is this crazy sounds, the intro to Mother Earth. And yeah, I guess I've always been drawn to music as a listener, as a fan. But I didn't start really making music until I was in art school in New York, not seriously. I played bass guitar as a teen, but was kind of alone. I didn't really have friends who played music, so I just played along with CDs in my room and made little songs there. But I got into making sound collage and going to concerts all the time, looking up what was happening, going to DIY spaces like the Hose in Brooklyn and anywhere else.
To rewind just half a step.
Yeah.
So how did you mentioned you went to art school in New York?
Mm-hmm.
Where did you grow up, and how did you land in New York in art school?
Well, I grew up in Fairfax, Virginia, Northern Virginia, and basically in high school I spent a lot of time in the art room. My teacher was really amazing. We could go there for lunch, just be there all the time. And yeah, it was my last year of school was kind of rough for different reasons. So I thought, okay, the only thing I really want to do is art or writing. So I applied to different places in Virginia, Baltimore, New York, and the best scholarship was at School of Visual Arts. So I ended up going there.
Amazing.
We're here in Manhattan. Well, in New York, in Manhattan.
Close enough. Close enough.
And it was, I don't know, it's just such a formative time, like being that age and being able to be exposed to so much amazing stuff. I studied like theory and studio art. And now I'm actually back there teaching a writing class in the program. But I made some great friends, and I think, during that time I was kind of more drawn to going out and seeing music than, say, going to galleries. I think I did go to galleries, but I liked the community more of music and made more friends, had more of a social life and connections through music. And I guess like music is what moved me. I guess like as something that is like immediate and emotional and transformative. So I started like doing experiments with body and sculpture. I was really into performance art and also finding other resources in the city, like going to some Butoh workshops at Evangeline and Limay. Cool. Doing this, I don't know, for anyone who's not familiar, it's a sort of like postmodern Japanese dance that started in the post-war period. And it's pretty punk, like it's kind of transformed over the decades, but deals a lot with the way that the body can transform into like different states of matter through movement, through visualization in the mind while moving, and through like time, I guess. Like there's kind of a conceit of like slowness a lot of the time and doing things as slowly as possible.
It can take like a Butoh performer like 10 plus minutes to even reach the stage, right?
Yeah, or to like stand up.
Yeah.
But I think there are a few different things, but I feel like this kind of change in like perception of time and space is also what really drew me to music. Like I was going to a lot of like drone and experimental, going to see the artist in residence things at Issue Project Room because they're free. I don't know, just going around and just trying to hear as much music as possible, like all the time. And I was also working through a lot of stuff in school, personal projects about family history and relationships to the body and gender. So I think because, like I was like 19, 20, and in a space where I really could just like research and reflect and go into personal projects, I was kind of dealing with themes of like family history and intergenerational trauma, and kind of working through kind of like lapses in communication. So just for context, like my mom is from Vietnam and like came to the States via Thailand after in the 80s, and so was a part of the whole like refugee movement back then. And I was trying to like figure out my own relationship to her history because it's something she didn't really talk about a lot. I think it's something that a lot of like Vietnamese Americans now are talking about in their work, like Ocean Vuong and stuff, and their writing. But being so young then, it was something that felt very like important and immediate to like work out. And I feel like it's good. Like I kind of got it out of my system then. But anyways, I was thinking about my mom's experience and like as a boat person. And then I had an aunt who was abducted and all this like crazy stuff. So I was thinking of ways of like getting outside the body, like bodies being so fragile and at risk in times of passage and of like instability, and like being around the same age as my mom was at that time when she went through that journey of being like 19, 20. I was doing performances like making casts of my body, making arrangements with them, like a plaster cast, and doing performances with projection of water and sound collage of like Vietnamese folk songs, like Kai Lung, Southern Vietnamese folk songs. And then I started doing experiments with feedback, which I think someone had like given me a microphone and then also like a big portable battery-powered speaker. So I started doing experiments with movement and like slow movement and choreographies of like everyday movement sort of things, just like very simple gestures with like a mic just like taped to my body, like maybe my arm or my leg, and doing feedback and just like having the distance and movement kind of improvising with the sound in that way in the moment, and making kind of like swells of sound. And I think I was moved by like the vibration of it. Like I was also going to a lot of like noise things, noise and drone. And I feel like the whole like visceral experience of sound, like electroacoustic sound, is very powerful because it's like overpowering and kind of just like goes immediately to your being. But I guess I was doing these movements as a way to like get outside the physical constraints of the body and turn it into something immaterial, like sound and that visceral experience.
So for you, like the relationship between the body and feedback is one actually of bodily transcendence, rather than like bodily affirmation.
Totally.
Or like it's about it's not about embodiment, it's about disembodiment.
Yeah, in a way. And I think it's like this connection between embodiment and like going beyond the body too. Like I was doing a lot of meditation and getting into these somatic practices like body scans and Buto and like visualizations in the mind, like imagining transforming into something, or like I was looking at paintings and kind of being inspired by some of their poses and making choreographies out of that, which then I later found out is what Tatsumi Hijikata, who's one of the early Buto dancers, that he would make compositions that way, like do collages of paintings and stuff.
Oh,
like,
that's really cool.
Of images of paintings and make scores that way. But then I was doing that and I did like a performance at the beach and made a video of it for like my senior project. And then I realized like, oh, like singing is that, like singing is a way of turning the body into sound and like getting outside of the body and transcending the limits of like just physical, everyday, mundane aspects of the body. And I started singing on my own, but was really looking for mentorship. And I had a professor, Suzanne Jolson, who's a great painter and a really wonderful teacher who like really takes students under her wing and is very helpful and like present with her advice. And she told me to go see one of her former students, Samita Sina, sing at the kitchen.
Okay, yeah.
And so I went and she was amazing. She was doing this performance working with Carnatic rag and like sort of dissecting the language and turning it into her own compositions, and was doing her own explorations of like choreography, simple movement, sound, and like embodiment as a way to generate like strong vocal presence. And so I wrote to her after the performance and was like, hey, I was really moved by your vocalization and I would love to know more about what you do. And like, I don't really have a lot of money, but I can do work for you. And we did like a work exchange and she gave me a couple lessons.
I love that.
She's just amazing. She's such a great teacher and is so kind. And
I haven't met her personally, but she works with people I know, and I've seen her perform before. She's an incredible performer.
Yeah, she's like wonderful. And she has this very special way of like translating ways of relating to a room, of a space, and like kind of embodying that and then like feeling that and having that like feed into your voice. So I feel like I really learned a lot from her, even just from a few sessions, and I still like, I don't know, I still keep that close to me. And then, from there, it's just kept like practicing. I would stay in the studios late and like sing along with Meredith Monk and Dead Can Dance and all this like crazy stuff. And doing extended vocals, just figuring out like what could happen. And then like through going out and through playing shows, I met other musicians like Layla Boudreau. I think, we actually met at a gig that Nick Klein and Phil Meyer organized at a church in Greenpoint.
I might have. That's actually, I think, the night I met you.
Oh yeah. I think so too. And started to like, develop friendships and relationships like closer. And I started playing with Layla and then some other people through her.
I wanna loop back to the relationship between the voice, the body, and dance, because we started kind of covering that, or you started kind of discussing that, but I kind of want to unpack that more, because your connection to Samita Singh makes a lot of sense, having seen you perform, where you approach the stage in a very dance-like fashion, but also in a way where I feel like you have a way of incorporating the stage itself as an instrument. And I was wondering like what your thoughts were there as far as kind of how the body figures into this kind of like equation.
I think I still feel like this way of like embodiment as a way to get beyond the body or like maybe mundane perception or something it still stands. Like even if, I don't know, like the other day I played at Nexus Records with Tamio Shiraishi, like just like a small space. It's a record shop. But even there, it's like I try to just hold space and zone in. And a part of that is the preparation of like, I don't know. I feel like as a singer, it's like very similar to being like a performance artist or a dancer where you have to kind of maintain your connection to your body or like, it's not like, I wouldn't say training, but like conditioning or something. Of course, you have to like sing and practice in a way that is fun and enjoyable, and not like torture, like singing songs or folk songs or something, or doing karaoke even. I don't know.
Do you do a lot of karaoke?
I do. I do it in the morning with my coffee for fun.
Do you do karaoke out?
I do sometimes with friends. Yeah. And I do.
What's
it
your
with my
karaoke
mom.
song? What's your pick?
My pick? Okay.
What's your pick?
There's a few. Depends on the mood. I love Dazzle by Susie and the Banshees. So that's like my fun song. But of course, most Madonna, like...
Early Madonna, or do you go all throughout?
I go throughout. I've been doing a lot of like, what is it? Her like, what she call it? Like neo-folk or like electronic folk. I forget. There was like, they had this weird... Her and her producer had this weird name, genre marker for it. Folktronica, I think.
Folktronica, that's right. Yeah, this is like the later 90s stuff. Is that right?
Mm-hmm. Going into Y2K.
Yeah.
Like Don't Tell Me. Even Ray of Light is in there.
Ray of Light's kind of a jam.
It is.
It's kind of a jam, yeah.
Neutron Dance for me.
Oh, Neutron Dance? Fun.
That's just my go-to. I get to really let loose.
I should try it.
Yeah, give Neutron Dance a whirl next time you're at karaoke.
Mm-hmm.
Continue though. My train of thought is now derailed. So.
No, my thoughts go all over the place.
That's what we're here for. This is loosely structured free association.
Well, but I feel like, yeah, that's it. Like, I feel like it's kind of a responsibility to just like bring it anytime you're performing, like, you know, no matter where it is. And I feel like it's also for the community of like music lovers and friends and peers who are a part of the scene wherever you are. But yeah, I think a part of it is like going in and just like grounding, and it's kind of a practice. Like the more you do it, the better it is. And I think like for any, you know, instrument or practice, whatever, this is probably applicable. But being present with the space, like being able to be both inside and outside and like seeing the room, but also making decisions inside and like feeling the space, letting what happens happen. And I think what's really keeps being exciting about voice for me is like there's always surprises. Like sometimes you don't even really know what the limits are, or like what the wall is, or even how far you can push past what your limit is of like your breath or whatever. Yeah.
Does that also relate to how you conceptualize feedback in your work?
Yeah. Yeah. I think with feedback, it's really cool because it's kind of something that is both controllable and not, and you have to like negotiate with it. It's almost like playing with another entity or something, and it's constantly moving and changing, so it kind of keeps you on your feet. And I love singing with feedback and harmonizing with it, or like finding the places where the voice kind of like neutralizes it, like singing in the same tone or the tones that kind of like cancel out.
Sort of Wolfman style.
Yeah, definitely. I feel like the way that like those guys from that era approach electroacoustics is very like magical, like alchemical and magical, while also really understanding just the way that sound works and moves through a room. I feel like they're very special because they understand the way, both like the science of sound and then also like the affective, like the way that it moves people. Which
Absolutely. It's principle and poetics united perfectly with both Bob Ashley and Lucier's best works, for sure. Definitely something magical there.
Yeah, and I also really like Alvin Lucier's books, like Music 107 is like, I think it's his lectures.
109.
109.
I know this because of Wesley.
Yeah.
No, there's the episode title. Numbers are really hard. I only know that because of my Wesleyan credentials.
Amazing.
Lucier's an incredible writer, and so many of his scores are also just fantastic poetry, right?
Yes. Yeah, I had the like honor to perform at the Shupajadrum Gala with him and some of the people from Yola Tango and Will Rawls.
Wow.
They did this piece. I forget the name of it. Sorry, but it was with giant balloons that were like perfectly spherical, basically, and the score was to become lighthouses of sound. So you would whisper through the balloons and send it.
Oh, yeah. I can't remember the name of that one.
Yeah, it was like a lens.
Yeah. That's a really cool one.
And it would beam the whisper just like in a perfect beam, so you could send your like secret message to the audience.
We'll have to look up the title of that one and have it in the notes for the episode, because that is a really cool one.
That's so beautiful. And they also did a beautiful piece where he had people download some of his field recordings and then play them through our phones. I forget how many people. It's like maybe 15 or 20. There's also people from Wesleyan there, like performing. And we put them into vessels. Maybe it was called vessels. Like a shell, a box.
Is it chambers?
Box. Chambers.
Yeah.
And then like slowly, like one person, two people, three people, and then up to like the old people like circulating through the room and then leaving.
Yeah, that's a good example of the kind of like uniting of poetics with this like very simple but profound like acoustic principle of self-resonating chambers, but then also structured in this like very like ritualistic procedural way.
Like, and it's like spatialized and moving in a way that's very simple, yet effective.
Yeah.
I think simple and effective is great.
Yeah, and I mean, I see a lot of that spirit in your work too, where there is this like, I mean, ritualistic seems like way too loaded, but there is something like there is some element of that to the performances of yours that I've seen.
I don't know what it is. I think like maybe it is this like I kind of like devotion to perception or something.
Okay.
I think I feel a lot of resonance with like devotional singers, and then the songs that I practice, some of them are devotional songs. Like some of the songs that Samita taught me, or also I've done some workshops with like Balinese Kidung and stuff. But I think it's this like also this following of the breath, and like the breath is being, it's like it's both your energy, but also like you can control your energy through like controlling your breath as well. And like finding the emotional connection to your voice through your breath too. But I think it's a nice way to kind of like tune into something, but also like let it go as well. And that's a way to get out of your overthinking mind or something too. But I think like a part of it is also this like somatic practice thing that is just like very much related to ritual. And also I've been like teaching this global music class as a part of my studies. Like I'm in an ethnomusicology doctoral program at CUNY Grad Center. Part of my fellowship is teaching at Hunter, like an undergrad class, a global music survey that's like for everyone, nursing students, teacher students, chem students, like everybody, all ages. And a part of like what I've learned teaching that is that like music is just very important to our lives, like in all the ways, like it moves when people move, and it brings like all of our experiences and knowledge, and is a way to mark important moments, to like do social commentary, to pass on like what people know, or to like share space and time together. And I think that that's like inherently ritualistic, I guess. And that's also like, I think a part of what we do. Even if, it's, for relaxation or maybe for entertainment, but there's always like maybe like a seed of that in it.
I want to discuss your academic ethnomusicological work and your kind of pedagogical practice. Definitely more a little later, but on the topic of the kind of like sociality of music, I wanted to ask you about your approach to collaboration, because collaboration is a big part of your practice.
Yeah. I mean, collaboration is exciting. I think some of the things we talked about before this were also about like making art during capitalism or under capitalism. And it's a great way to like be accountable to others, to keep each other motivated, to work together, to maintain relationships, especially in a place like New York when we don't have a lot of like time. Or if we're like super busy, I found collaboration as a way to like, to keep making art, and in a way that it's like strengthens bonds with others. And that's always, I feel like things are usually, bigger and better with more, talents combined. Or it's a way to open new possibilities for what can happen. But also, yeah, I just feel like so, I don't know, not to be corny, but I feel so grateful to have so many great relationships through music.
That's like the least corny thing in the universe. If that's great. That's the real shit. Like,
yeah, I think it makes life like so much better, honestly.
It does. It really does.
And yeah, I think like even beyond music, it's like, we lift each other up, we're there for each other, like help each other out. So I think it's a way of both like musically working towards something, but also like making like real connections and like solidarity for each other. And I don't know, it's like a survival skill too, I guess.
The point about accountability, I think, that you made was really interesting, and that's one that I feel like it doesn't come up so often, but is actually really important. Like when we're all, for those of us living in, for instance, New York, like it can be really hard to stay motivated and focused on your practice when you're just living.
Definitely. And like, I don't know, so many people like, drop out because it is hard to devote your time to something that, when you have pressures to maybe, I don't know, stay afloat and maybe external pressures from other societal pressures, but also like, you know, there's this idea as we get older of like what it is to be successful or something. I think, yeah, collaboration and the relationships that form from that, I feel like to me that brings a lot of like sustenance or something. And yeah, in times where I like maybe just have a few hours a week to work on music, it's just, I feel like so much more happens when I'm with other people. Like we just accomplish so much more. We make songs quickly. Like we just have like a system together, and create a system together, and it's fun.
It can take a lot of time to get those systems in place too.
That's true.
So it cuts multiple ways at once.
Yeah.
But yeah, I totally feel that because like when I don't know multiple bodies together in a room, it opens up so many more possibilities.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then there's like certain ways of working with different people too that are just really cool after these years to see like grow or sustain and grow in different ways. Like say with Tamio Shiraishi, we don't have that much time to practice together also because he lives in Woodside and I live in Crown Heights. So it takes me like maybe an hour and a half to get up there. We practice in the subway where Tamio likes to practice, the 67th Avenue stop.
Love it.
And we have to find a good time when there's not too many people there because, you know, his saxophone is very loud. And very high pitched.
I have experienced it, yes.
And, you know, we don't have like a sound system or something, but we're able to work out certain dynamics. Like with my voice, I bring maybe a small practice amp and my little lavalier and do feedback and bells and sing with him. And we'll do like 20 minutes, 20 minutes. And that's it. And then we'll kind of work out a schema for a set and do it together. And that's our system. But with someone like Layla, when we practice together, we take more time. We'll do it in her basement or something, or if we have another space. And yeah, play with different elements. It's more, I feel like with her, it's more about like close listening. And we both kind of learn a lot from each other in the way that we work with feedback in different ways.
How would you contrast your different approaches?
I think with her, it's like because of her, she's a cellist. She's playing with the cello, and she has her own system of like having multiple contact mics on there, and also 2 volume pedals, and then playing with both like what's being picked up from the strings as well as from the body of the instrument. It's like very, very, very sensitive system, I feel. For me, I have a more direct control because I mostly use like my hand mic and like the actual speaker, or I'll mic those and be playing with the feedback from like my mixer, my voice, my everything to the PA and like doubling it. So we've kind of like picked up some techniques from each other.
Interesting.
And the ways that we like route things.
So it sounds like her approach is more sort of like feedback ecosystem oriented, and yours is more kind of like direct, almost kind of directly instrumental.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then I think maybe what is like very similar is like the ways that the tones we introduce can interact with that. Like for me, my voice; for her, the way that she like bows the strings, perhaps, and the pitches that we generate.
Do the two of you work with like a kind of like mutually constituted feedback network ever?
Actually, I guess because we go through the same PA, that's like the thing that's mutually constitutive. But it would be interesting to do that more with each other. We've never done that, which would be cool. Although it's like maybe, working with her has been so like fun and pivotal, though we haven't in a couple of years so much. But it just, I guess like my vision of time is more expanded or something. I guess like what we've been doing the past few years is like this feedback ensemble that she and Luke Stewart kind of spearhead.
Right.
That has different people who work with feedback, and we all play together, like myself, John McCowan, who's now in Iceland, who he does like kind of simulated feedback. He mostly plays acoustic, but it sounds like feedback. So it's like, he's like the fake. No, he's not fake. He's like the, it's like aesthetically feedback, basically.
Let's take 1 second to just sort of like meditate on that one.
I don't know.
So it's sort of like using extended technique in a way that it simulates feedback?
Yeah.
Okay.
And C. Spencer,
Of course.
on violin and other stuff, and a Chris Corsano on drums sometimes, and whoever else can join, basically.
I've missed those performances, but they've been on my radar. They sound awesome.
I really want more to happen. It's a lot of people, but we can do it.
Continuing talking about your musical practice directly, something that struck me is like you don't really have much recorded material out.
Yeah.
And so this is always a really interesting question for me when I encounter artists who work primarily with sound who don't really release music as like a key part of their practice.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm wondering, like, is that incidental? Is that deliberate? Do you conceive of your work primarily as performance oriented and recording would detract from it, or just be a distraction in general? Like, how does that work for you?
I think it's been incidental, but I think it's because like for, I don't know, the past like 10 years or so, it's mostly been, like you said, performance oriented and so much to do with the space. Maybe I haven't really found a way to record and engineer like capturing the essence of a room like that.
Right.
And maybe I just have also been hesitant to ask for help from my engineer friends. So maybe I should do that. The past like couple of years, I've been doing some more songs and working with some friends and also working solo, like on production. And because I don't know, I think maybe I've been drawn more to like pop and stuff. I don't know. I'm not doing pop music, but I have some more songs and like I've been doing song cycles that kind of go between, like lyrical kind of like extended songs and then to like electroacoustic and back and forth.
Okay. That sounds great.
So that's something I would like to record maybe this summer. Who knows? It's always like, always feel so ambitious. I think the other thing is that I kind of do a lot of things at once, and then recording kind of gets like pushed to the back of the extended back burner.
Yeah.
So that is an incidental thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting because it cuts so many ways for different people. Like, so many of my friends, like recording is the music. That is the entirety of the practice, right?
Yeah.
Like, especially for electronic musicians.
Totally.
Like it's for so many of them, there is like, if there is any performance practice, it comes almost like retroactively.
Mm-hmm.
Like they already have this body of work and then they have to figure out, okay, how do I perform it?
Yeah.
So it's the kind of opposite end of that, where it's so rooted in performance that even kind of conceiving of ways to record it and like produce like a piece of work that way introduces such a big set of problems that it gets maybe overwhelming. And
it's overwhelming. That's the thing. I think also part of it is like the kind of like ritual aspects, I guess. Like to me, it's just so rewarding to do something in a space and with others and like to like feel the sound that
right.
It's been what I prioritized.
No, that makes sense. There are acoustic properties to sound that do not translate when taken out of space, basically, for sure.
It would be amazing to figure that out, though. So hopefully that's the next thing.
Yeah, no, yeah. Just thinking about like Lucier's work again in particular is like there are basically no adequate recordings of Lucier's work.
Yeah, because so much of it is about the phenomenon, and I think that's a part of it too. Because I don't know. For instance, like working with someone like Tamio, and like a part of what is so amazing about his sound is like the overtones that happen and that like happen inside the ringing inside your ears that happen like when he's playing those like super high tones.
Yeah, the auto acoustics. Yeah.
Yeah. It's very difficult to capture that. Maybe you could
Also
simulate
dynamic
it.
range, right?
Yeah.
Like sound in a real space has a very different. The dynamic range has a very different quality.
Yeah, these are very interesting problems.
Yeah, we can keep picking away at them if you want. Let's
Yeah, let's try.
But we can also move forward with more general questions if you want to. Let's see. I mean, do you want to talk about your academic work?
Yeah.
There's a lot there to discuss. So.
Totally. So again, I have kind of like a meandering like mind and path. So I was very, I guess like the whole like reason or situation I'm in my academic program it has kind of a backstory, which is the very first time I ever went to Asia was in 2019 because of a grant from Asian Cultural Council, which like, it's very expensive to fly. It's like, I don't know, almost $2,000 round trip and then to be there and everything. And like my day jobs have always been in teaching, which is, it's not like the most lucrative sort of thing. Like working with kids, doing after school, like being a teaching artist, that sort of thing. So like grants have been the way that I, prior to school, have like been able to travel or do a lot of that sort of thing. So I was able to go to Japan for 3 months in Tokyo and Kyoto and do like artistic research on sound art and dematerialized sort of practices because I was curious about I feel like there's a very amazing and particular like aesthetic that is kind of rooted in a lot of Japanese performance artists as well as like sound artists of this very like simple but poetic and like very smart way of working with sound as material, as well as with like space in a room, and just making the most out of anything.
Do you want to talk a little more about that? That seems like a really big and interesting kind of thing to kind of poke into a bit here because you mentioned like dematerialization in this context. So what do you mean by dematerialization, and also how does that tie to the materiality of sound that you also just mentioned?
Totally. So I guess dematerialization, that word, I guess, as used in like art, I guess was popularized by Lucy Lepard, who was a curator in the 60s, 70s, and onward, and theorist. And she was writing about conceptual art and the whole like phenomenon of artists who would, there's artists who would make like really big like paintings or big sculptures and stuff. And then there were at the same time, there were artists who were just doing a performance outside or like making a situation or making a poem and having that be the work or making an idea and writing it down. She referred to this as like dematerialized art. And it's also connected to like feminist art practices and ways of getting outside of like the super like spectacular sort of like forms of showing art, and being based more in the body, and going more towards performance and time-based art as well. And so in terms of like performance and artwork that doesn't take a lot of material or like money and capital to make, but that can also be shown in a variety of places, not just in a gallery or a museum, but maybe on the street, or you could just show it in any room as like something written on a piece of paper. There were movements like Fluxus that had a lot of activity in New York City, but also in Japan as well, as well as like art schools, music schools, artists who would also teach. So I was like interested in this connection between these different like performance art practices in New York and Japan, but also like the way that, say, like artists could go so far with a simple idea, like even in terms of noise, like was it CCCC that drove like a tractor through the wall?
Yeah.
Like these ways of like making situations and then going very far with it, or like dedicating to an idea. So yeah. And then I guess like I was looking at some Buto and like also taking some lessons like from Imatenko in Kyoto, and like meeting people like Antibodies Collective in Kyoto who they create situations with dancers, musicians, and say they do a project where they have different people around a certain, they did it in an island, but who have like radios or they have like a map, and you can go encounter these different people in different places and make like a whole like environment that you can navigate with like different situations happening. But they actually started as a collective after the Fukushima nuclear disaster, by like when it was illegal to like distribute the anti-radiation pills yourself.
Oh wow.
This is what he told me. But that they were like doing it on their own as like as art, but also as activism.
Yeah.
So they're like doing things in, for their community and like making situations that have an impact, but also they also have this very strong like aesthetic sensibility and make very like moving pieces. Even so it's run by a couple. One guy is a musician, one is a dancer. I don't want to like mess up their names, so I don't want to say right now what's on my mind.
All good. Yeah. Remind, and we can make notes.
But I saw like a piece they did that was just in like a DIY space in Kyoto, and the dancer was just like on a table with a glove and did this like amazing dance that was just so like transfixing, and it's like just amazing. It's like magic. I don't know. Art can be like magic.
Yeah, I mean, I think we can go one step further and just say art is magic.
Art is magic.
Yeah, let's go there.
Yeah.
All right.
Art is magic. Sorry, I was telling this very long story.
No,
about how I started my studies.
This is like exactly what we're here for. It's great.
So from this grant, I saved extra money, and I had never been to Vietnam because my mom had never been back. I think part of the reasoning she had is like, I sacrificed so much to leave. Like, why would I go back?
Right.
And so, but I really wanted to go to Vietnam. So I went to Vietnam before, and then I like met my cousin and went all around. It was amazing, very fun. Stayed with my uncle in the Mekong and in Vinh Long, and went to Saigon and stuff. But I also saved money to go to Indonesia because my friend Leili Husaiba here, who is like kind of a grassroots organizer, and she like befriends artists and just like mentors us because she's a punk lady. She was like, you have to go to Jakarta because Indonesia has like the best experimental scene. It's amazing. You'll love it.
I've heard this from a handful of friends.
I've also heard this many times.
Yeah. And she was also like, oh, the way that you sing it's very, I don't know, you have some similarities with like Javanese singing or some resonances. Like you will, I don't know, it'll just be important for you to go there. So I did go to Jakarta, and I also went to Jogja. I was there for a very short time. But I managed to go around. I also went to Bali too and met some people from the noise collective there, Chaos Non-Musica, and met some friends, Ikan Haram from Gabermoda Saparandi, and in Jakarta I went to some music collectives and art collectives like a Rong Rupa in Jakarta, and then also in Jogja I went to like Rong Mes 56, which is a photography collective that also overlaps with some musicians like Will Walk the Rock, who runs a really important label, for experimental music and noise and like club music in Indonesia, and like promotes a lot of musicians like Senyawa. Yes No Wave Music is his label, and he has like a record shop in Jogja. And yeah, I also went in Jakarta to a Chaos Ojo Chaos, which is a bookstore and venue run by a band, Efek Rumah Kaca, who are like huge in Indonesia. They're a huge indie band, but they also have a lot of historical and political messages in their music. And their band name means like greenhouse effect. So it's about global warming and environment. They do a lot of advocacy and are just like so amazing. So in a very short amount of time, like 2 weeks, I just met all these amazing artists and people and collectives, and was also really blown away by a lot of collectives have been around for like 15, 20 years, which coming like there from New York was really crazy to me, because I feel like here there's a lot of amazing artists and initiatives, but many are very short-lived.
Yeah.
And I wanted to know more about like, how can this work? And like, you know, what are people doing that is so great? Like how, how do they work together so well?
In New York, anything that runs longer than 5 years is like a small miracle.
Yeah.
Whether that's a venue or a collective or really anything. So.
Definitely. And there's also this festival I went to outside of Jogja in a village called Magelang that has a lot of artists there. It also has a lot of farmer artists. And there's a festival called Kesenian Lima Gunung, Five Mountain Festival. That's a cooperative between like 5 villages in the area, where they switch off every year who hosts it. But they make this amazing installation together. They build a stage. They make a giant Garuda out of straw. And they have like usually about 3 days of programming, like full days and night. Music, theater, dance, like wayang puppetry, wayang kulit, and everything, like experimental, traditional. They make their own rituals. And I wanted to research more about that festival and about gotong royong, which is like a concept of like working together toward a shared goal. So I felt like there was something really cool happening around Indonesia in the arts that was very like anti-capitalist and working very well. So I wanted to research that more, and also I wanted to take all these experiences I was having and learn how to like synthesize it into something that was helpful for other people. Because I was in Japan doing artistic research, but I was like, what is research? Like, what am I doing? Is this just for me, or like, can I like spread this or something? Have more of a impact, or like share it wider? Because also I felt like a responsibility, because there were so many people who were very open with me about, you know, their lives, what they were doing, even just like sharing time. And I felt like, oh, like a part of what I have to do is like, I don't know, maybe write, maybe, I don't know, book something or like share something. So that's kind of like my project still, is like figuring that out. Like, what is research as like a musician, artist, academic person? What that can be. Like a podcast is a great idea, like what you're doing. But I've also like, I wanted to learn how to write and to, you know, write well and responsibly, and how to like interview people and do all that stuff. So I applied for a PhD program in ethnomusicology. Yeah.
That's amazing, and so laudable on like a bunch of levels.
Still trying to figure it out, but we'll see.
So you teach a global music class, you mentioned, to like kind of a very wide range of people. How do you approach such a giant subject for kind of a like you said, like nurses and just kind of anyone who wants to learn more about world music, for like global music,
totally
folk music?
It's like, that is like a whole thing in itself, which is there's a lot of different factors. Like, of course, it's like the very first day I tell them like, okay, it's impossible to talk about all the music in the world, and the class is called The World of Music. Like, that's what Hunter calls it. But I'm saying, okay, we have like a survey of music from around the world, and I'll just like talk about, you know, some of what I know or have researched, and I try to include musics that I know both musics I know that are relevant to some of my students, like because Hunter, a lot of the student body is maybe has roots in like Jamaica, Puerto Rico, Dominican Republic, as well as places like Pakistan or Bangladesh. And then, of course, I have to talk about Black music in America and Afro-diasporic music and the whole like history of transatlantic slave trade and the way that it forced people to move, and at the same time, like forced people to create communities in different places, like in Brazil, in Puerto Rico, in Dominican Republic, in Jamaica, and to have to like make community together and like communities of support, and also like all these musics that filter into what we know as pop music today is like from this history. So that is like very central to what we teach too. Like some of my colleagues also teach the same course in their own way, but we all like deal with this topic, and it's like super important. And at the same time, I try to like incorporate music that is exciting, and also I do give a good amount of readings, but I try to find sources that are like approachable for anyone. Like maybe from Red Bull actually has a lot of like very good and reputable sort of scholars who write for their music publication, but who do it in a more like casual sort of tone.
The Red Bull Music Academy was like one of those bizarre mid-tens like corporate musical miracles.
Yeah. It was so strange, but they have a lot of good sources, and they also have people from like Brooklyn College like write for them, and different ethnomusicologists, I don't know, from around the world. Stuff from Remezcla, stuff like this. And then talk about things that are topical. Like this year we talked a lot about Bad Bunny and his album, and also about migration and politics and representation and music and like histories of migration. So like reggaeton is really fun to teach because there's so much in the history of the music. Like,
yeah.
And so we talk about different themes like migration, labor, music, and
so is that how you structure the class? Like with an eye towards these thematic, kind of like these overarching thematic concerns, rather than you teach it sort of top down through theme rather than bottom up through content.
Yeah. And
That's
then there's like
interesting.
links that come back,
Right.
like also thematic links, like say, like the sort of the voicing of like political concerns through like soca or reggae connects to also like rancheros music or I don't know, my students also pick up these things and they'll like write about it themselves of like, oh, this reminds me of what musicians were doing like over here. But yeah.
So is that a way in which also the kind of student teacher kind of binary breaks down a little bit? That do you also wind up learning a lot from your students?
I do, and so it's what's also very challenging about the class. This is something that is like we all complain about. So the class is very large at Hunter. It's like 70 students.
That's a lot.
It's really a lot, and it's just me. We don't have a TA. CUNY is not like fancy like that. So part of like teaching was also figuring out like systems that worked for a class that big. So I'd have them talk in groups together. Even though it's so big, the class would get really loud. But I was like, guys, we can do this. You guys will get to know each other. I'll give you questions. You talk a little bit, and then we share as a group. And then I also tried to like have a lot of like question and answer so I can like engage with students there. And it actually worked. This year was really fun. Shout out to my students. You're awesome. So yeah, they were great. I love teaching there. Even like last year I had a student who was so generous. She like worked as a dance teacher and she gave us a little workshop on the fancy sailor dance from Carnival in Trinidad.
Oh, wow.
So we somehow made it work. A lot of students didn't show up to class, so then we had more space. It's just being real. But that was very fun. And yeah, we try to talk about like power in music and the way that like also different themes as are also like music, the way it circulates, and then also like the industry of music too. I don't get too into that because that's like a whole other animal, but there's this book by Maureen Mann, who's an ethnomusicologist. I guess she's trained as an anthropologist, I think, who's at NYU. And she wrote this amazing book, Black Diamond Queens, about Black women in rock and roll and their like influence on the genesis of rock and roll, both as like main performers, as backup singers, girl groups, like the Shirelles. And so, yeah, I try to incorporate stuff that I'm reading that's like exciting in a way that's digestible for the students, and stuff that I think is important just for like anyone to like understand.
I'm going to have to remind me about that book.
Yeah, definitely.
That sounds great.
It's amazing. I can send you the PDF. It's so good.
Yeah, please do.
But there's like, I don't know, there's all sorts of like crazy stuff about the recording industry and the way that music is marketed, the way the charts are divided, and like histories of like racial capitalism and the ways that things are marketed to different groups of people.
Absolutely.
So it's very interesting and also like very messed up.
On the topic of political economy, maybe, I mean, there's so much to cover, and I feel like we've just kind of barely kind of touched on like your whole academic work. But for the sake of like keeping things sort of moving along, because I mean, I would be happy to talk about this for another 2 hours, but
yeah,
maybe this is a good point to kind of bridge back to the kind of like the question that we sort of loosely structure the podcast around right now is how do you as an artist live and function under capitalism? You know, kind of more specifically, how do you navigate the contradictions between social reproduction of self and kind of artistic constitution of self?
Hey, big questions. I'm gonna think of that for a second. I think like something that I always tell my students also at SVA is like, you just really need a day job. Like, that's just being real. I don't know. I think if I were purely relying on music for sustenance, I would go insane because there are so many.
A lot of my
pressures.
friends definitely have. So.
Oh my God. Well, prayers to them. And I mean, it's very honorable. It would be amazing to just do music all the time, but maybe I would be a nun. I don't know, as a way to just do music. But like, I mean, I guess there are ways. It's been, okay, so sorry, my brain is going all over the place, but we talked a little bit about like tabla, like learning Carnatic music. So it's been really amazing. I've been learning tabla from this person, Mir Nakibul Islam, my ustad, who's an amazing teacher, really good person, very kind. Him and his wife, Nicole, run this thing called NYC Tabla. And it's also very close. He lives very close to my apartment in Crown Heights, Prospect Lefferts Garden. So I go there a couple times a week, take classes, practice. And it's been cool seeing the way that he works as someone who plays in the Hindustani tradition. So he did have a very good day job working for Amazon. So that's crazy. But then he quit for a variety of reasons and now is focusing on music, but gigging, playing like at temples or at cultural events, playing gigs with touring musicians, this sort of thing. That seems like playing in a specific sort of tradition like that, where you're playing like Hindustani music or rag or like improvising with other musicians, like South Asian musicians, does seem like a kind of viable way to make a living. Making like experimental music is a very difficult way to make a living. Nobody is like asking for that here. Maybe if you're in Europe, it's like easier, I guess, because it's more mainstream or something.
There's institutional money.
Totally, there's institutional money.
And there is that here, but a whole lot less of it.
A whole lot less, and it's really like not spread out so much, really.
Right.
So I think like an important thing has been like having community, having these close friends, like keeping each other motivated, having people that you can have good conversations with, and like even just like be inspired by hearing like what they're doing. And then, yeah, having a day job teaching, it's not like the most like lucrative thing, but there are like jobs around. It can be relatively stable if you like figure out your situation.
Yeah.
If you're a teaching artist, if you're working in a school, like teaching in high school is much more stable, even than teaching in college as an adjunct.
This is a thing. I have
Yeah.
a number of friends who have gone, and I've considered that route myself, like teaching at high school, simply because it actually
Pays like, well.
Yeah, it pays way better than being an adjunct for sure. So, and maybe pays better than some tenure track positions, honestly.
Yeah. Yeah, and then you don't have
definitely
like,
can.
that pressure. So I think making experimental music under capitalism is very hard. Yeah, if you're not a princess or a prince, it's very difficult. Yeah.
I mean, this gets at one of the the contradictions of experimental music, right? That
Yeah.
in order to like make it and devote yourself to it, you're possibly likely from a certain class position.
Totally. It's like you're either from a class position or you're just crazy. You're just crazy.
Right. Maybe both, but
Yeah, or both. But yeah, it's definitely like, I think compulsion is like a word that comes to mind because it's compulsive. I think like for musicians, it is kind of compulsive because, yeah, why else would you do that? Like, especially here in the States where music isn't really so much like honored as it is in other places.
Yeah.
Like in Indonesia, if you say you're a musician, people are like, oh, wow. And they're like, there's some sort of like importance like that resonates with people. Whereas here they're like,
even as an experimental musician,
Yeah.
you're afforded the same respect as any musician.
totally. And then they'll be like, oh, what do you do? Like questions, even at the airport, the person like, I don't know, looking through my stuff was like, what do you play? But here it's like, oh, like, what do you really do?
Yeah.
This sort of thing.
That is one of the most frequent and like degrading questions, right? Like, oh, yeah, so how do you actually make your money?
Definitely. Or like, what are you serious about?
Yeah.
Music is very serious.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
everyone listens to music. It's funny because even in my class, like one of my goals, the survey is like for students to understand that music has like a very important role for our lives as like people in the world, as social beings. And like I think because going in, some students have a dissonance where they grow up with music. Maybe music holds like important markers of time for them or like emotional importance, but they think of it more as like a product,
Yes.
which is, the way that we're conditioned to think about things under capitalism and neoliberalism, and about the utility and what utility is it like an economic utility?
Well, so I guess touching back to your work at large, like we think of like the music commodity as the recording. So do you think of like your work in a conscious fashion as a way of problematizing that, or do you situate like we also kind of glanced on Fluxus briefly,
Yeah.
which I think part of the Fluxus project was kind of explicitly problematizing the commodity form, the commodity form of art. I had a more coherent point there somewhere
Totally.
in my mind, but meditate on those.
Yeah. I think a part of
Those
it
prompts.
is maybe like a refusal of like hyper commodifying what I do. I mean, it's like I am compelled to like make these situations because it does feel like important for me, and I do feel like to create a space is such like an amazing opportunity. It's like, why would I not do that?
What do you mean by create a space?
Like create a space, I mean like maybe like a sort of event, like a sonic event, like to have like the actual acoustics of sound, to maybe design like the way that things are set up, to I also think about the way that people move through the space, whether it's the audience or myself. Of course, like the lighting, the whole atmosphere, and making a space that has like its own sense of time. I feel like a performance can do that, and that's what's so special about that. So again, I think that's been my priority. So I haven't really been prioritizing my music as like a commodity in a way, as like something to sell. I mean, maybe that would be very smart of me, but I haven't done that. So yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, there's so many questions like looming in the air right now.
Yeah. I don't know. It's like, it's cool if people can do that. Like, I think, but it also depends like where and what you are. Like, I feel like making work in New York, I feel like it's enough for me. Like, my goal has been just to like be able to keep doing music and to make these situations, and to grow it. So maybe I do have to step it up if I do want to like bump up the scale or something. But right now I feel fine. And to be able to keep like meeting other musicians, playing with others and growing. So also part of that is learning new things, like, like picking up tabla to like, not just picking it up because it's like a long-term commitment, but like to like improve my sense of time and of rhythm.
Right.
Because most of what I've done has been like free rhythm, which is also like a devotional singing sort of thing for like maybe like introductory improvisation or for like a prayer song or something. But I do love listening to, dance music, other type of music. And of course, like I do want to bring more of like a rhythmic sensibility to my music. And that's why I've been trying to like learn.
I mean, I mentioned like I've studied Carnatic music a bit, and there is nothing that will drill in a sense of rhythm better than Carnatic and Hindustani music. It is so rhythmically complex, and you have to be so on.
Yeah, you have to be very on. And also like, hearing Mir, my teacher, talk about like what he has to do as an accompanist when he plays tabla with others is just like so crazy, because he has to listen to, maybe if he's like accompanying a singer, they're singing, he doesn't know exactly how long they'll do this, like this free time, like alap, like introductory improvisation. But he has to like really just be focused the entire time and to like count the time cycle and figure it out. And it's like, I don't know, you just have to have so much training and knowledge to be able to just like figure all these things out. And then once they start, you have to like be in the right time cycle, like for the rag and like,
you're counting the tala, you're staying on beat, you're mentally reciting the syllables that correspond to what you're playing.
Yeah.
You're juggling a lot.
And like it's not,
you are with any type of music, but
totally. And it's not necessarily all written out like what it will be. So you have to really be like present and like figure it out too, which is just like amazing. So yeah, I guess I've been learning a lot that way, but I don't know. I go on so many tangents.
We're all about tangents here.
Okay.
So. Again, this is some form of ethnography, some form of psychoanalysis.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, I don't know. I love listening to recordings other people put out. That's great. Maybe someday I will more. But right now I've been prioritizing like the live situation.
Yeah. So
maybe some other day I will prioritize recording more somehow.
Do you have thoughts about how you mentioned like the kind of song cycle or song oriented stuff you're working on? Do you have like thoughts about how you would like record that, or how you would integrate that more fully with the electroacoustic stuff?
I guess how I would record it, I would like to, if I were like in a dream situation, it would be nice to figure out a sort of ambiance that captures a sort of live energy and then record that way. That would be best. And then I guess I should consult some engineer friends of like mic placement, how to pick up the most like active parts of the room in a way that's good.
Yeah.
So this is good. You're like helping me stay on track. So this is what I mean. Like it's good to talk with other people.
Accountability.
And, like, figure things out.
Again, this is some form of psychoanalysis.
Yeah.
You've brought up like so many fantastic, like huge, wide-ranging questions that are like half percolating in my brain. So we will definitely have you back on again in the future to unpack this stuff more, because this has been amazing. But are there any kind of last things you kind of want to touch on, or are there any upcoming projects or upcoming performances you want to highlight before we wrap?
Oh yeah, I guess July 19th, I'm performing with Women Innovating Sound Experience. They're having a sort of celebration. I don't know how many years they've been doing it, but they've been doing it for some years. And it's something that was started by Jen Grossman, who's a sound artist here in New York, who makes beautiful installations and makes beautiful music with synthesis, and also makes wonderful videos. I love her work a lot. And so she's organizing, I think, 2 days of performances by woman-identified artists. And then I think for this summer, that's more what's on the horizon. I have some friends coming to town that I'm excited and hope to play with and maybe organize some things for. So yeah, Lori Goldston's coming to town in September. So trying to find gigs for her. If anyone has ideas of spaces, she's a
remind me, and then I can potentially help. So
that would be really cool. I don't know if you're familiar with her work, but she's an absolute legend. And
I'm not.
Maybe you would definitely be she would probably hate if she heard me say this, but she played cello with Nirvana and was on Unplugged and stuff. So that's the most
that's
pretty
a pedigree.
epic. That's a huge pedigree. But her work is really beautiful. Melodic and deep cello.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Solo cello. So good. And she also plays a lot with other people like Shelley Hirsch, and she and I started improvising together. So hopefully we'll do that more. So in September, looking for a space, or maybe a few spaces. And, yeah, those are the things. I guess I have some other projects with people. I have kind of a weird pop project with Axine M. We don't have a name yet, but we want to record this summer. We need to think of a name. And
name can come last.
Yeah. And then I have a duo with Dre Wilson, who plays as Mankind, called Body Weather. So we're also planning doing some recording this summer. So those are the things that I'm excited for.
Amazing.
Yeah. I just did a big performance at Issue last month. So I would like to, I just have some live recordings from that, but I would like to figure out a way to capture some of that. That was a song cycle with voice and bells. 2 other musicians joined me, Canto Villano and Raimundo Atal, who has an ensemble called Abella of electronic Latin percussion here in New York. And I played some dentrens, Vietnamese zither, and electronics and voice. So that's also what I'm going to try to figure out.
Awesome. So much cool stuff.
Hey, thank you.
Sick. Well, thanks so much, Julia. This is
amazing. Thank you.
Yeah, super sick. Great talking. Great getting to know you and your work a little better, and also at least kind of circle around some of these colossal issues we're all kind of struggling with or grappling with in some capacity.
We're grappling with a lot, but it is cool to know that there's people doing work all over the world and also trying to figure out solutions. And I think working together is a really strong solution. And
absolutely.
Yeah, again, I want to shout out all my friends. Even in Tangerang, outside of Jakarta, there's great collectives like Block Decibel Collective. They bring together sound systems and musicians to do performances on trucks during protests. And
sick.
Yeah, Ilang Turban Collective is a hardcore collective that organizes gigs, and they all kind of overlap and work together. And yeah, there's just amazing comrades around the world. So I guess I want to we can all highlight each other.
We're all in this together necessarily. So
yeah, definitely. So Thank you so much, and it's so cool that you're doing this. I liked listening to some clips and also finding some great songs and hearing friends talk.
Awesome. Thank you again. This was great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right.